Rian was an ordinary human technician stationed on Outpost 47, a small but important research base floating near the border of alien territory. He worked with damaged drone panels, broken communication chips, and endless wiring that always sparked at the wrong time. Life on the outpost was quiet, calm, and sometimes boring. Most days felt the same. But everything changed the moment the alien princess arrived. Her name was Lyra, and she belonged to the Sarati Empire, a proud and ancient civilization known for strict traditions and powerful telepathic gifts. Her people rarely visited human outposts, and when they did, it was usually for serious diplomatic reasons. The entire base was ordered to prepare for her arrival. Floors were polished, banners were hung, guards were stationed everywhere, and every officer rehearsed greetings again and again. Rian did not care much about royal guests. He only wanted his broken drone panel to stop shocking him every 10 minutes. But he was ordered to join the welcome hall with the rest of the humans. He stood at the very back, hoping to stay invisible until the ceremony was over. When Princess Lyra entered, the entire hall fell silent. She walked with calm steps, her silver armor shining under the lights. Her eyes were bright gold, glowing gently like warm sparks. Her elite guards followed behind her, tall and expressionless, each holding a weapon that hummed with controlled energy. Everyone bowed. Rian bowed late, because he was distracted by the broken wire in his hand. One of the officers glared at him, warning him to behave. Rian sighed and forced himself to stand still. The ceremony began. Officers gave long speeches. Lyra listened politely but showed no emotion. She looked like someone who carried heavy responsibility on her shoulders. Rian felt a little bad for her. Being a princess seemed tiring. Then came the moment that changed everything. As everyone moved forward to greet her, one of the officers pushed Rian by mistake. He stumbled, lost balance, and almost crashed into Lyra. Her guards raised their weapons instantly, ready to attack. Rian froze with fear, his hands in the air. "I'm sorry," he blurted out. "I didn't mean to, wow, you'd make a good wife." He said it without thinking, a nervous joke, a stupid human reflex. He always joked when he was scared. The hall went silent. Officers stared at him in horror. Even the ventilation fans seemed to stop. Lyra stepped closer, studying him with calm golden eyes. Rian wanted to sink into the floor. He waited for punishment, anger, or a cold royal insult. Instead, she gently placed her hand on his chest. Her voice was soft, but it echoed like a royal command. "Then I accept." Weapons dropped. Humans choked on air. One officer fainted. Rian felt his soul leave his body. No, wait," he stammered. "It was a joke. A joke. Humans say things like that when they're scared." Lyra tilted her head. "In my culture, a vow spoken under fear is the most honest one." "It wasn't a vow." Rian cried. But she did not seem to hear him. She turned to her guards. "Prepare the bonding escort. He has chosen me." Her guards slammed the ends of their staffs on the ground in acceptance. One activated a communication link. "Notify the royal fleet. The princess has accepted a mate." Rian almost fainted. "Mate? No, this is a misunderstanding." But things only got worse. The Galactic Council detected the human-royal marriage bond. Alerts spread across nearby systems. Some called it a crime. Others called it a political scandal. And a few believed it was a threat to ancient treaties. Within minutes, alien ships began moving toward Outpost 47. Human officers panicked. They surrounded Rian like he was radioactive. "You idiot," the commander whispered harshly. "Do you know what you've done? A royal acceptance is legally binding for the Sarati Empire." "It was a joke," Rian repeated helplessly. But the princess walked to him again, her eyes soft. "You spoke your truth without fear. And you reached out to me as no one else has." "I didn't reach. I tripped." She smiled gently, her first smile since arriving. "Your honesty is refreshing." "That wasn't honesty," Rian said weakly. "That was stupidity." Lyra ignored the chaos around her. She took his arm, surprising everyone. "Come. The bonding rituals must begin." "No. I refuse," he protested. Lyra looked hurt for the first time. "Refusing an accepted royal vow is considered an insult to my entire empire. It could start a war." Rian stopped breathing. "A war? Because of him?" Alarms blared through the outpost. Human analysts shouted updates. 3 Sarati war cruisers exiting warp. Council enforcement ships approaching. Orders pending from Earth Command. It was chaos everywhere. Rian stared at Lyra, who stood calmly beside him, as if she truly believed this was destiny. she whispered, "Do not fear. I will protect you." "But who will protect me from you?" he whispered back. Her golden eyes softened again. "You are safe with me." At that moment, Rian realized his life was no longer normal. A single nervous joke had turned him into the future mate of an alien princess. And possibly the reason a galaxy-wide conflict was about to begin. Rian hoped the princess would forget everything by the next hour, but that hope died quickly. The moment she accepted his vow, her royal guards surrounded him like he was some priceless artifact. They guided him toward the landing bay while human officers followed behind, panicking and arguing. Rian tried again and again to explain the misunderstanding. It was a joke. Humans say strange things when we're scared. I didn't propose. But Lyra walked calmly beside him, hands folded politely. Among my people, our telepathy allows us to sense truth. You are frightened, yes, but your words came from a place of deep sincerity. They came from panic, Rian corrected. She shook her head gently. Fear reveals the heart more clearly than pride. Rian groaned. That's not how humans work. The outpost's main corridor lights flickered red as more alerts came in. Ships from the Serati Empire were arriving much faster than expected. Lyra's own flagship, a massive silver vessel shaped like a crescent moon, hovered outside the viewports like a silent giant. Human officers tried to negotiate. They blocked the hall. "Princess Lyra, we cannot allow you to take this man off our station," the commander said firmly. Lyra looked at him with calm authority. "He is my chosen bond. Do you wish to deny my empire this right?" "That bond was a misunderstanding," the commander replied, sweating. "Intent does not change the spoken vow," she answered. Her guard stepped forward. The human stepped back. Rian wished he could disappear. As they walked again, he tried escaping. The first attempt was simple. He tried slipping away when Lyra looked at a display panel. Her guard caught him instantly by grabbing the back of his jacket like a misbehaving cat. "Do not flee," Lyra said softly. "It hurts my heart." "I didn't flee," Rian said. I walked extremely quickly." Her eyes warmed. "Such humor. I admit human behavior is interesting." The second attempt was more serious. When they reached the lift, Rian pretended to trip and rolled toward the opposite hallway. This time 2 guards blocked him easily. One lifted him by the arm and set him back like a toy. Lyra placed her hand near his shoulder. "Please stop. I do not want to use force." "Force?" Rian nearly shouted. "What force?" She lifted her hand, and the metal wall beside them bent inward like soft clay. No sound, no pressure, just pure telepathic strength. Rian froze. "That force?" she said gently. Rian nodded rapidly. Okay. I will walk. I will behave. I will not run into any more walls." The humans watched in disbelief. Even officers who usually acted brave now looked terrified of her. Rian didn't blame them. He was terrified too. But something strange was happening. The more time he spent near Lyra, the more he noticed details he hadn't seen earlier. Tiny tremors in her fingers, the way she hid her emotions behind a calm face, the tension in her shoulders whenever someone raised their voice. She wasn't cold or arrogant. She was lonely. They reached the landing bay where her royal shuttle waited. The doors opened silently, revealing a chamber filled with soft white lights and glowing patterns. Alien attendants bowed deeply to Lyra and stared at Rian with curiosity. "Prepare the bonding chamber," one announced. "I don't want a bonding chamber," Rian protested. Lyra turned to him. "It is only a place of safety. You will not be harmed." "That doesn't make me feel better." Before she could respond, a sudden alert flashed across the bay screens. "Galactic Council enforcers approaching. Issuing demand, human must face trial for unapproved royal interference." Rian's heart dropped. "Trial? Interference? What did I interfere with?" Lyra's expression hardened for the first time. "They believe your words were a challenge to royal authority. They think you are trying to influence our throne." "What throne? I just fix broken drones." Her guards formed a protective circle as more Serati troops contacted Lyra. "Princess, the council wants him detained," one guard said. "No," she replied firmly. "He is under my protection." Another guard added, "They are suggesting he be executed to restore political order." Rian nearly fainted. "Executed? Okay, definitely a misunderstanding. Please explain." Lyra stepped closer to him and said quietly, "I will not let them touch you. They cannot force you away from me." "That's not comforting," Rian whispered. The humans in the bay whispered urgently to their commander. "We should retrieve him." "We can't. They'll destroy the station. We should let them take him. He's one of ours. Arguments heated. No one knew what to do. Meanwhile, a deep hum shook the bay as Lyra's flagship activated its shields. We must leave, she said. The council wants to separate us. If they succeed, they will punish both our worlds. Punish? Rian's stomach twisted. A joke had turned into a threat for Earth itself. 2 guards gently guided him toward the shuttle. Lyra walked beside him, calm but determined. He looked over his shoulder. The human officers stared helplessly. He realized they could not help him now. As the shuttle doors closed, Rian whispered, "Why are you doing this?" Lyra met his eyes. For the first time he saw fear in them. Because I will not lose the one person who spoke to me like I was not a princess, but simply a person. The shuttle lifted. Rian's fate left the outpost with it. And the galaxy began to react. The shuttle floated silently toward the massive Sarah-T flagship. Through the window, Rian saw the ship's silver hull stretch like a floating moon, glowing with soft blue energy. It was beautiful, terrifying, and completely alien. As they approached the landing bay, Rian felt his stomach twist with nervous fear. Lyra stood beside him, calm as ever. Her presence felt gentle, even comforting, despite the chaos she had dragged him into. The shuttle landed, and the doors opened to reveal a grand hall filled with shimmering lights and elegant patterns carved into crystal walls. Dozens of alien attendants bowed deeply. "Princess Lyra, the bonding suites are ready," one announced. Rian nearly choked. No bonding suites. No bonding anything. The attendants blinked in confusion. Lyra raised a hand and they stepped back instantly. "Rian will rest first," she ordered. "He is overwhelmed." Overwhelmed was an understatement. He was ready to faint, scream, or hide under a chair. The guards escorted them through long corridors. Rian noticed that everyone they passed stared at him with wide eyes, whispering quickly, "That is the human who spoke the vow. He must be very brave. He challenged tradition. He might unite our princess's fate." Rian whispered to Lyra, "Why do they talk like I volunteered?" "You did," she said gently. "Your words were sincere. For the last time they were not sincere." But arguing felt useless. She believed him in a way he could not counter. Human logic simply didn't work here. They reached a quiet chamber with soft lights and floating chairs. It looked peaceful, but Rian felt trapped. Lyra motioned for him to sit. He did, mostly because his legs were shaking. She sat in front of him, lowering her guard for the first time since leaving the outpost. Her voice softened. "Rian, I want to tell you why I accepted your vow." He crossed his arms, annoyed and afraid. "This should be good." Lyra took a slow breath. "My life has never been my own. As the heir of the Sarah-T Empire, I am surrounded by rules, expectations, and people who look at me with fear. No one speaks to me honestly. No one treats me like a person." Rian said quietly, "You're a princess. Isn't that normal?" "Normal," she repeated. "Yes. But painful." Rian blinked. He had assumed she was powerful, confident, even dangerous. But now she looked fragile, like someone who carried a weight too heavy for her age. "I have no friends," she continued. "Only guards, advisors, and enemies waiting for me to fail." Rian's anger faded slowly. He hadn't expected this. "You saw me that way?" he asked. "No," she said softly. "You saw me. When others bowed, you stumbled. When others feared my gaze, you met my eyes. And when you were afraid, you used humor instead of lies." "That wasn't bravery," Rian said. "That was panic. Panic can still reveal truth." He rubbed his forehead. "But why choose me? Why accept something you thought was real?" Lyra looked down at her hands. "Because of the prophecy." Rian froze. "Prophecy? Oh no. No, no, no. I don't want to be part of any prophecy." "You already are," she said gently. She touched a glowing panel and a hologram appeared. It showed ancient Sarah-T symbols and scenes of war, fire, and unity. "Our history speaks of a future leader," she explained, "one who must bond with a heart from a world of danger. A heart strong enough to stand beside our throne and bring unity to our people." "World of danger?" Rian repeated slowly. She nodded. "Deathworlders. Humans." Rian stared at her in disbelief. "So you think I am the prophecy's heart?" "Yes," she said simply. Rian laughed weakly. "I fix broken drones. That's it. I'm not a leader, a warrior, or a chosen anything." "But you protected children back on the outpost," she said quietly. Rian froze. "What? How did you know about that?" "I sensed your memories when I touched your chest in the hall." she said. I saw you shield those children during the power explosion last month. Rian remembered the moment. He had pulled two small trainees behind a crate when an energy coil exploded. He hadn't thought anyone noticed. Lyra continued, you care deeply. You act without hesitation. You risk your life for others without expectation. That is the kind of heart our empire needs. Rian swallowed. Her words struck deeper than he expected. But the political situation was much worse than he realized. A guard rushed into the chamber. Princess, the council demands your abdication if you continue the bonding. Abdication? Rian gasped. They want you to lose your throne because of me? Yes, Lyra said calmly. They do not approve of a human bond. They say it weakens our lineage. And you're okay with that? She looked him in the eyes, her voice trembling slightly for the first time. I would rather lose a throne than lose someone who speaks to me with honesty. Rian felt speechless. No one had ever said something like that to him. But before he could respond, a loud explosion shook the ship. Energy alarms blared. Red lights filled the corridors. Guards rushed everywhere. Assassins, a soldier shouted. They breached the hall. Lyra grabbed Rian's hand. Stay close. Blaster fire echoed from the hall. Enemy troops, Sarati rebels, stormed the corridor. One aimed at Lyra. Without thinking, Rian lunged forward and pulled her behind a pillar. A blast hit the wall where she had stood. Her guards took down the attackers, but Rian's actions were seen by everyone. He had protected their princess twice now, and that changed everything. The alarms kept echoing through the corridors long after the last rebel attacker fell. The ship's shields flickered, lights flashed red, and royal guards rushed in every direction. Rian stood frozen, breathing hard, still holding Lyra's wrist. He had acted without thinking, again. First on the outpost, now here on the ship. His body reacted before his mind could catch up. Lyra looked at him with wide, stunned eyes. You protected me again. Rian let go quickly. I didn't mean to. I just reacted. Her expression softened in a way he had never seen before. Gratitude, fear, and something deeper. Before either of them could speak, the captain of the royal guard rushed in. Princess, he said urgently, the council is using the attack as proof that you are unfit to rule. They claim you brought weakness into the empire by accepting a human bond. Rian raised his hands. I did nothing. That is exactly the problem, the captain said. Your existence is enough to start internal conflict. Lyra glared at him. He is not a problem. He is under my protection. Another guard stepped forward. Princess, the council has offered a single path to prove your bond is true. If you accept, they will stop trying to remove you from the throne. Rian's heartbeat quickened. What path? The guard hesitated. Then he bowed his head. The trial of union. Every alien in the room fell silent. Rian frowned. That sounds dramatic. Lyra's face grew serious. It is dramatic. And dangerous. What is it? Rian asked nervously. It is an ancient ritual, she explained. Meant to test the strength of two hearts wishing to join as one. Couples face 3 trials: courage, trust, and unity. If we pass, the council must accept our bond. And if we fail? Rian asked. The captain answered quietly, the bond is declared false. The princess loses her throne. And the human involved is executed. Rian felt the blood drain from his face. Executed? Why is that always an option with you people? Because royal vows affect more than one heart, the captain said. They affect entire star systems. Lyra stepped closer to Rian and touched his arm gently. I will not force you. But if we do nothing, they will still take you. At least with the trials we have a chance. Rian stared at her. She wasn't lying. Her eyes carried fear, not for herself but for him. He took a breath. Okay, fine. I'll do the trials. Not because I agree with any of this, but because I don't want to be hunted every time I breathe. Lyra similed softly. For the first time it reached her eyes. Thank you. The guards led them to the arena. The trial chamber was enormous, a circular hall of shifting metal plates and glowing runes. The walls moved like living stone. Platforms floated at different heights, and the air felt heavy with ancient energy. Aliens filled the viewing balconies. Council members watched from a high platform, judging everything with cold eyes. A booming voice echoed across the arena. Princess Lyra of the Sarati Empire. Human Rian of Earth. You stand for the trial of union. 3 tests will decide your bond. Rian whispered, we can still run, you know? Lyra whispered back, I can bend steel with my mind. You think we will outrun ships? Rian sighed. Good point. The first trial began. Trial 1, courage. The floor shifted suddenly. Platforms rose and fell. Strange creatures made of energy appeared, circling them. Their forms glowed red with heat. A voice announced, "Stand your ground in the face of fear." One creature lunged at Rian. He stumbled back, nearly falling into a gap in the floor. Lyra caught his hand and pulled him close. She pushed forward, her telepathic energy forming a glowing shield. Rian felt terror rising, but he stayed beside her. When one creature attacked Lyra from behind, Rian grabbed a fallen metal rod and swung it with all his strength. The creature shattered into sparks. Gasps filled the arena. Humans weren't supposed to fight energy beings. But Rian had no idea what he was supposed to do. He simply acted, and protected her again. The creatures vanished. The floor returned to normal. Trial of courage, passed. Trial 2, trust. The arena went dark. Two floating platforms rose, one beneath Rian, one beneath Lyra. They slowly drifted apart. A voice echoed, "Open your mind. Trust completely or fall." Lyra extended her hand across the distance. "Rian, do not fear. I will hold you through the bond." "I'm already afraid," he said. "But okay, fine. Do your mind thing." Her telepathy touched him gently, not invading, just guiding. He felt her uncertainty, her loneliness, her desire to be seen as more than a title. And she felt his thoughts, confusion, fear, frustration, but also the instinctive urge to protect her. Their platforms tilted dangerously. Rian slipped, but Lyra pulled him with her mind, lifting him enough to regain balance. Gasps filled the chamber again. A human being carried by Sarati telepathy? Unheard of. The lights returned. Trial of trust, passed. Trial 3, unity. The chamber shifted again. A giant energy sphere formed, pulsing with violent force. "Only united hearts may calm the storm," the voice said. Lyra stepped forward, hands glowing. Rian moved beside her. "How do we do this?" he asked. "Match my heartbeat," she said. "That's not helpful." But he tried. He closed his eyes, focused on her breathing, her steady presence. Slowly their rhythms aligned. The energy sphere calmed, becoming gentle light. Together they controlled it. The crowd erupted in shock. The council stood, confused and stunned. Trial of unity, passed. A final voice echoed. "The bond is true." Lyra turned to Rian, relief and gratitude on her face. "You did it," she whispered. "No, Rian corrected." "We did it." Their hands touched. The entire arena bowed. The council had no choice now. The human and the princess were officially united. And the galaxy would never be the same. The arena slowly fell silent as the glowing lights faded. Rian and Lyra stood at the center, breathing in the heavy air, still feeling the echo of the final trial inside their chests. All around them, alien nobles, warriors, and council members stared with disbelief. No one had ever seen a human stand beside a royal Sarati heir as an equal, let alone pass the ancient trials with her. A moment later, the council speaker rose from his high platform. His robes shimmered with silver patterns and his expression was unreadable. "Princess Lyra," he announced, voice deep and formal, "your bond has survived all 3 trials. According to our laws, according to our history, the council must accept your union." Whispers spread through the arena like wind. Some voices were angry. Others were shocked. But many sounded impressed, even proud. Rian swallowed hard. He wasn't sure whether he should bow, smile, or run away. Lyra stepped forward with calm dignity. "Thank you, council speaker," she said. "I trust that the Empire will now stop questioning my choice." The speaker bowed his head deeply. "We acknowledge your bond is true. And with this, humanity becomes an honored ally." Rian blinked. "Wait, ally?" "Yes," the speaker said with a faint smile. "When the heir to our empire chooses a heart from another world, that world becomes part of our inner circle. Earth will receive new rights, protection, and trade access." Rian stared at Lyra. "Do you realize what you just did? You changed Earth's future." She looked gently at him. "No. We changed it." Before Rian could process that, the arena erupted into a thunderous cheer. Guards saluted. Attendants bowed. Council members tapped their staffs in respect. And for the first time, Rian wasn't treated like a criminal or an accident. He was recognized. The royal declaration. After the arena, they were taken to the grand hall, a vast room filled with floating lanterns and shimmering banners. The floor reflected the sky like glass, and the ceiling looked like a sea of stars. A royal attendant announced loudly, presenting Princess Lyra and her bonded heart, human Rian. Rian flinched. Bonded heart? That sounds dramatic. It is our way, Lyra whispered. You are dear to me now. His heart skipped a beat, though he wasn't sure why. As they walked forward, Sarati nobles lined the hall, offering respectful gestures. Some still looked unsure, but most bowed. Even the guards who once viewed Rian with suspicion now lifted their fists in salute. At the far end of the hall, Lyra stepped onto the starlit platform. She turned to face the enormous crowd. My people, she said, voice steady and proud, today we accept change. Today we embrace a future built on unity, not fear. Human Rian has stood by my side with courage, honesty, and a heart that does not break. Rian stood awkwardly beside her, wishing he had prepared a speech. Lyra continued, I present him as my chosen partner. And together we will bring strength to our worlds. The hall erupted with applause. Rian took a deep breath and stepped forward. He spoke simply because he didn't know how to speak any other way. I first met Princess Lyra because I tripped, he said truthfully. A ripple of laughter spread across the hall. I said something stupid because I was scared. I didn't know it would start all of this. More laughter. But, during the trials I saw who she really is. She cares about her people. She's brave. She's honest. And she deserves someone who stands with her. He looked at Lyra. So I guess, I'm standing. Her eyes softened, warm, golden, shining. The hall fell silent. Then applause thundered again, louder than before. The quiet moment after the storm. Hours later, after ceremonies, meetings, and endless congratulations, Rian finally found a quiet corner on the balcony of the flagship. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, peaceful and beautiful. Lyra stepped beside him. You handled today very well. I just tried not to faint, Rian muttered. She laughed softly. You were strong. Stronger than you think. He looked at her seriously. Lyra, I need to ask something. When this all started, when I made that stupid joke, why didn't you correct it? Why didn't you let me walk away? She touched the rail gently. Because you were the first person who ever spoke to me without fear. The first person who wasn't trying to impress me or use me or judge me. You treated me like a person. Rian nodded slowly. And now, she said softly, you are someone I care for deeply. Not because of prophecy. Not because of duty. But because you see me, for who I truly am. Rian exhaled. You know, I think I'm starting to care too. Her golden eyes glowed gently. I hoped you would. They stood together watching the stars. Not princess and technician. Not prophecy and accident. But two hearts that somehow found each other across worlds.